News 13's Victoria Dunkel is live outside Mission Hospital. Victoria, we know at least one person was injured, right?
That's right. I'm picking up on the breaking news you brought us in the 4:30 half hour and trying to get new information for you. What we do know is one person was possibly shot, definitely injured, and brought here to Mission Hospital just a little bit after 3 o'clock this morning. Now, police started piecing together this case at Lee Walker Heights. Here's a little bit of video of what we shot just a few minutes ago for you. What we do know is they were called to Lee Walker Heights around 3 o'clock this morning, and that is where they found a person who was injured with a possible gunshot wound. Immediately, they had emergency crews get that person here to Mission Hospital for medical attention, but police tell us they determined that person was not actually injured, whether it be a shooting or some other type of injury. It did not happen at Lee Walker Heights. So where did it happen? Well, that's one of the questions they're asking this victim right now. The last update we had from the lieutenant said that they were trying to speak with the victim and get as much information as they possibly could to try to figure out exactly what played out in the early morning hours here in Asheville. Of course, we're working to keep in contact with the lieutenant and the officers investigating this case. We'll bring you all the new information for you throughout the morning as we cover this developing story of a possible shooting in Asheville overnight. Reporting live in Asheville, Victoria Dunkel, News 13.
New this morning, we are learning more about a shooting in Asheville.
News 13's Victoria Dunkel is working the breaking news for us. And Vic, you just found out in the last 30 minutes some more details about the victim.
Exactly. When I last spoke to you right around 5 o'clock this morning, we had been told that this was a possible gunshot situation and that one person had been shot. What I have learned from the lieutenant with the Asheville Police Department, just in the moments after I talked to you at 5 o'clock, I found out that the victim is a man and that he was shot in the chest and brought here to Mission Hospital. And that is the current and the latest information on that victim's condition. But here's what else we have learned. Now, police started working this case at Lee Walker Heights around 3 o'clock this morning. And when they arrived, that's when they found the man near the apartment complex there. They say that they believe that he was shot at another location and that it appears that he drove himself to a friend's home at Lee Walker. Police are trying to figure out exactly where the shooting happened. They think it may have been in the Klondyke area. That is not confirmed yet. And at this point, they have not named any suspects or released any information about who possibly may have shot this man. Again, they said the victim was speaking to them at the scene right after they got there, but they were not able to get a lot of concrete information. Again, emergency crews brought that person here, that man here, to Mission Hospital, where doctors are treating him for a gunshot wound to the chest. I'll bring you more information as we get it into the newsroom and as I get it from the lieutenant handling this case. But right now, we have it confirmed that there was a shooting in Asheville overnight and one person has been brought to the hospital, that man being treated for a gunshot wound to the chest. Live in Asheville, Victoria Dunkel, News 13.
You knew this morning a man is in the hospital after a shooting in Asheville.
News 13's Victoria Dunkel is live outside Mission Hospital. And Victoria, is he the only victim in this case?
At this time, that is what police have told us. He is the only victim. He suffered a gunshot wound to his chest, and emergency crews brought him to Mission Hospital here. This was after 3 o'clock this morning. Now, this was breaking news you first had on our 4:30 newscast this morning. Since then, we've been able to get a little more information. And let me tell you, this all started when police got the call to Lee Walker Heights just after 3 o'clock this morning. That's where they found the man in the area. He had been shot in the chest. They immediately got him the emergency help he needed, and as they started to piece this together, here's what they've discovered. They said that the shooting did not happen at Lee Walker Heights. What it looks like, they believe the man drove himself to a friend's home there after being shot somewhere else in the city. Right now, police think that may have been in the Klondike area. They have not confirmed that with us yet, but they're working and looking in that area. They also have not named a suspect at this point, not released a whole lot of information about who may have shot this person in the chest. But what we do know is that the victim was talking to police at the scene, giving them information, and the police are building their investigation off of that as they collect evidence and try to figure out exactly what played out in the early morning hours. But right now, one man is recovering from a chest wound, a gunshot wound to the chest, here at Mission Hospital. Reporting live in Asheville, Victoria Dunkel, News 13.
New this morning, a shooting in Asheville sends a man to the hospital.
And that's where News 13's Victoria Dunkel is right now. And Vic, have we received an update on the man's condition yet?
We have not received an update on the condition in the last 30 minutes, but we do know that this man was shot in the chest and brought here to Mission Hospital for emergency treatment after 3 o'clock this morning. Now, here is what police have told us, because that is around the same time that they got the call to Lee Walker Heights, and they were informed that there had been what they thought was a shooting victim. That's when police arrived and confirmed that a man had been shot. They called for emergency transportation to the hospital to get him help. Before he left, they did say they were able to speak with the victim and try to get some information. Here's what they've been able to put together so far this morning. The call came in at 3:05. The victim was shot in the chest. Now, Asheville Police Lieutenant Jamie Crawford told us that they have saying that it looks like the man had been shot somewhere else and drove to a friend's home at Lee Walker Heights. They do think that the shooting may have happened somewhere in the Klondike area. They're working to gather information and confirm exactly where it happened and exactly why it happened. They've not released a lot of information about suspects, motive, or anything along those lines yet, because this is a very active and developing story on their part as well. What we do know, again, is that the victim was brought here to the hospital, had been talking to the police before he was transported. We do not know the latest on his condition yet, but of course we'll be following that for you and bring you new details on this developing story throughout the day on News 13. Reporting live in Asheville, Victoria Dunkel, News 13.